Good evening and welcome. This is the entrepreneurship slot here on Tonight with Tim Modise, and we are pleased that this time, starting from tonight, we have the IDC as our partners, the Industrial Development Corporation. And this is an agency that is focused on assisting business create direct and indirect employment. And we're going to learn a lot about what the IDC is all about, how you apply for loans, where they grant loans, how they help you build your business. So it's going to be a very long and interesting journey, and we definitely are very excited about this relationship that we have with the IDC. Naomi, Mtshali, thank you very much for joining us, and we appreciate, as you can hear, I'm very excited, I'm very happy that for weeks coming, we're going to be unpacking what the IDC is all about. Now, you are here to help us, firstly, understand what the organization is all about. You've just celebrated 75 years of your existence. IDC has been in existence quite a while. So, brief history of the organization, if you can please tell me.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks for having me. We're excited as well to just put the IDC out there. And I think because there is this myth about the IDC being not accessible, so we really appreciate this opportunity to be on Soweto TV. The IDC was established in 1940. It was established to promote economic development, also to facilitate industrialization, take industries that were existing, facilitate their growth, and then also create new industries. I mean, the Sasols of this world, the Mozals, were established with the assistance of the IDC. As you have said, we have about 800 or so, close to 900 employees. We are represented in the other regions as well, the other 8 regions. So this is our head office in Sandton, and then we have representation in the 9 regions, as well as of additional offices in those regions as well.
Now, the IDC, there are several agencies in South Africa that provide funding to businesses in the public and private sector. Where do you fit in the whole landscape of funding?
Okay. As a development finance institution, our role is to fund the unfundables or those that the banks are not comfortable funding. So we have a much larger appetite for risk as the IDC. And it's because we see the need for developing entrepreneurs. And that need is also informed by the national development plans, all these other policies that the government has established and set up. So we play a role in facilitating funding for those that are not able to get funding anywhere else. We take the gap, we take the risk, and we partner with our entrepreneurs. We have departments here that make sure that we sit close to our clients when they encounter challenges or problems. So that is where we really play. I mean, our role is to really we don't compete. We don't see ourselves as competing with banks. Actually, we think we actually work with them. We also co-fund with them sometimes.
But there are specific things, I suppose, that you look for in the potential business that approaches you for funding, besides the fact that they need money. Yeah. But there's something else that they must offer or promise to offer. Yeah. What is it?
Firstly, I think what's important for us is a business plan, the business plan. The business plan for us is the one document that we have and to make a decision whether to invite an entrepreneur to come and see us or not. So we need a business plan that really tells us what the funding is for. We need a business plan that's going to identify the market need. So that business plan has to indicate to us what is the market need? What market are you addressing? What gap have you identified to address? How is that going to be funded, and how are you going to make money from that business? So we need a business model that's going to say to us, this is viable, sustainable, create jobs if necessary, if possible. So we look for a comprehensive business plan. We look for management team that has got experience to run that business. If we find that management doesn't have the necessary experience, we also encourage them to look for technical partners, people who've got experience, who've been in the game, who know what it takes to make it. So we look for all those elements in a business plan, yeah.
But the economy being made up of different sectors, I want to believe there are specific sectors that you prefer, and might be some that you actually do not fund.
Yeah, I wouldn't really call it prefer. I think we really are, the strategies that we take are informed by the economic climate, but also by government policies. So when we take a strategy to invest or partner in a certain economic sector, it is an informed decision. And we also look at whether that sector is a viable sector. Is it something that we still want to be involved in? So we have about 12 strategic business units. We have we have value chains as well. We have the agro-processing value chain, we have the metals and mining value chain, and automotive and equipment value chain. And then we have the high impact SBUs as well, which is your heavy manufacturing as well as your light manufacturing and tourism SBUs.
Okay, now, if one wants funding from you, and I suppose the size of loans counts for something as well. So firstly, tell me about the size of loans that you make available, and two, the requirements that you want from whoever is approaching you, and whether you can approach as an individual or you want to be formed into a company before you talk to the IDC.
All right, that's great. That's actually a good question. The funding minimum requirement for us is R1 million and above. So companies that require funding from R1 million and above can approach us. However, they need to be within the mandate, and the mandate is within those SBUs that I've just mentioned now. So, if they are outside our mandate, we refer them to our sister companies. So the requirement is that it has to be above R1 million. It has to be in the manufacturing sector within those business units that I've mentioned, and it has to show economic viability, which means that the business has to be able to repay the loans. It has to be able to repay even its other trade creditors and even its employees. So those are the requirements that we look for. Firstly, we screen for mandate, we screen for viability, and we look at management. We look at technical expertise, and also in terms of the market, we look at whether there are market opportunities for that product.
So, for somebody who's approaching yourselves, to go back to that earlier question, how do you organize yourself? And because it can be intimidating as an individual. You've got dreams, you're an entrepreneur, you believe you can talk to the IDC, or you think you have to be a company first.
Yes.
Have 3, 4, 5 people with you. Bookkeepers, accountants, lawyers, and so forth. Do you need a big delegation to approach the IDC?
It really depends on your business. I mean, what it is that you want to do. So some businesses obviously will require quite a sizable contingent of management, and some businesses don't require such a big, and it also depends on whether the business can take such a large contingent of management on board. So what we look for is it has to be a company, it has to be a legal entity, a recognizable legal entity, so you have to register a company, and you can have a 2 or 3 man company. As I said, it depends on what it is that you want to do.
Let's do the ABC now. Where am I? I've decided I want to start a business now. I've got pluck, I've got courage now to face the IDC. I say, I'm going to the IDC. What should I do? How should I start planning?
You put together a business plan.
Yeah.
And we do understand that not everybody has the finances to put together these, big business plans. So for us, it has to be focused. It has to talk to the financiers. And a lot of the time, we find that business plans are not geared towards funders. There are reams and reams of pages, but they actually don't tell us. They don't go to the gist of why you're looking for finance. So for me, I would say to an entrepreneur, prepare, research what it is that you want us to fund, and motivate us, and really push have passion for what you want to do. So come with a prepared business plan. We are really accessible. We have a pre-investment business center which I lead, and the pre-investment business center is here to assess your application, and we will also identify gaps. If we find that there are gaps in your business plan, we'll tell you. We need you to identify or address 1, 2, 3, 4 gaps. We also have a business support department that helps those where we identify gaps. That business support department can come in, but it has to be viable. If it's not viable, obviously we can't, put money in terms of supporting it from a business support perspective. So that is basically what we look for, and then we'll take you through the process. You know, you apply, we screen it, we'll do a basic assessment, which basically means we'll write up a report, you know, we'll do a comprehensive financial model, and after that we present it to the strategic business units that I mentioned, and they make a decision whether to go ahead and you know, do a due diligence or not. So anyone is welcome. We have a walk-in center. You don't have to have an appointment. You walk in, we have 3 amazing consultants who will take you through what is required. They'll call one of you know, my account managers to come and sit with you. I'm available as well. We come down, we sit with you, we look at your business plan, we tell you what's required, and if it's within mandate, we register it, and then you are in the system, and then we work with you from there on.
Just out of interest, how much money do you grant per year in the form of loans, out of interest?
Sure. I think in the last year, we approved financing of about 14.5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
so-
basically in the last year,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm checking that because we might be saying, well, approach IDC for funding.
And then we
only to
don't
find
have-
that they've run out of money.
We don't-
There's no money. Or they actually don't give any money. They've
No.
got 20 million available, and then we form long queues
Yes.
only to find that there's no funding.
You know, the fact that we've been here for 75 years, for me, I think is testament of the good decisions that have been made over the years. So, you know, we, as I said earlier, we take risks, but these are calculated risks. We make sure that the risks we take are calculated. The companies can afford to pay us back, you know, and the investment we make give us a return that will ensure that we are here for the next 75 years. I mean, we have to leave a legacy for the next generation. Right. So we do have money. There's no risk of us running out of funds, you know, and just to add that, you know, we haven't been funded by government since I think we were established. So we're comfortable in terms of our funding. I mean, 14.5 billion is no chance. And just incidentally, we also set aside 4.5 billion towards youth-owned or youth-empowered, you know, companies. So there is money.
4.5 billion
yes,
per year.
We have set it aside, yeah, for the next couple of years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, much appreciated. And of course, we're going to learn more about
Yes.
the IDC. You are approachable.
Yes.
Your doors are open.
Open.
We just need to prepare our business plans when we approach you, familiarize ourselves with the business units and the value chains that you prefer, that you support. Not prefer, I'm not using the right word.
No, you're not.
But the ones that you...
We're strategically positioned, to develop
There
and
we
grow.
go.
Yes.
There
yeah.
we go.
Yes.
Strategically positioned.
Yes, sir.
Those are important words.
They
that
are.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim.
Much
Thanks for having me.
appreciated.
Yes.
Well, that's the first installment of our show on entrepreneurship with the IDC. To familiarize you with what this organization does, it hands out loans 14.5 billion per year and has set aside more than 4.5 billion for the youth. And of course, everyone knows who wants to be in business that you've got to have the willpower, the will to succeed, be focused, be committed. But more importantly, you need support, the IDC.